Hi there, everybody. What you're about to experience is something I tend to do every single week, or I try and do every single week. It is, of course, the Tarot Show. On the Tarot Show, I take requests from you, the people out there, via email, and the email address is nickdutchtarot@gmail.com, for me to be able to do for you a tarot reading free of charge within the Tarot Show, so that you can see what a good tarot reading looks like. You can have a bit of fun. You can get a bit of insight, a bit of reflection, guidance, clarity, whatever it is you want to call it, and just enjoy the pleasure of having your questions answered. Remember, this is you time. Okay, you can just sit back for a few minutes, drink your tea, drink your coffee, and just enjoy the show. And sometimes you can get a lot of self-developmental contemplation through listening to other people's readings. Sometimes it can be a motivator, sometimes it can be something which gives you clarity of thought, and so on and so forth. Now, I do tarot for a living. This is my job, okay? And I work via Keen.com, I work via LivePerson.com. There should be links down there, if you're lucky, in the information section. So if you'd like to have a commercial reading, I'm typically available in the mornings, USA time, okay, which is of course the afternoons UK time on those services. And for those of you who are really lucky and have got kumar.co.uk, or the access to it, or psychicliveservices.com in the USA, I think it is, you will be able to find me on pin number 2483 once in a while, and that's of course under the name of Nick Dutch, and you'll be able to connect with me live. Okay, so without much further ado, now I've got the self-promotional boring bit out the way, let's crack straight on with the first reading of today and see basically what the universe is providing me with. Okay, now the first inquiry we've got is for Susanna D. Let's have a quick look and see what the reading says for yourself. Now, it's just a bit of a general feeling as to whether things in general, okay, are going to start getting better for you. We all have those unpleasant, undesirable moments when everything seems to be a bit dark, you seem to be obscured from the light, you can't quite get that level of balance, your emotions may not necessarily be all that positive. Sometimes things can even be good, but you feel as though things aren't all that good. Alright, I personally have had that kind of experience myself, but that's slightly more rare. But let's see what the reading itself says, and obviously, work on the gratitude for the things you've already got. I always find that a written exercise can be useful there, because it can help me to really see in genuine clarity basically what I've got, and the fact that I am actually quite lucky as well to have some very basic things. But what the reading is suggesting for you is an emotional change. An emotional change towards something that's going to provide you with more in the way of fun, recreation, pleasure, and I would say understanding as well. I mean, the main signs we've got here, during the very short term future, this is the bit which is not going to make you all that happier, okay? Now you might be thinking, those are boring pip cards. Basically, what kind of reflection am I supposed to be getting from these? Well, the Eight of Discs there, that one is often talking about slowing down, taking it bit by bit, and also being careful which decisions you make. You want to try and create dramatic change. That card is basically saying, don't try and necessarily make it that dramatic, but look before you leap. Okay? Despite the fact that you may feel like you're miles away from stability, you're still in a position of having to make big decisions about your own life. Alright, you are the king and or queen, alright, of your own existence. And so therefore what you decree will have an impact upon where your kingdom will be, where your life will be further on down the line. Okay, and everyone is basically the sovereign over their own existence. Of course, we've got the rest of society to take into account, yes. But if you want to have a better future, you've got to work on it today, and that means diplomatically knowing when is the right time to act and when is not the right time to act, and in what way you need to act. And that requires real contemplation. Okay? Now, how are you going to be doing your contemplation? How would you basically be moving your life further forward? And that's essentially with a feeling of some form of better morality and being a better quality of person than other people. That's the Three of Staves there, and it's sort of talking about moral virtues. Okay, so being the right quality of individual. Virtue can speak about the nature of something. So let's say the nature of this is that it's a wind-up torch. That's its nature, that's its virtue, okay? So understanding basically what your nature is and what gifts you've got to provide for the world and what gifts you want to receive and trying to get that into balance, okay? And even trying to change some aspects of your nature could be an important aspect of where you are at the moment. So some change, some caution, some diplomacy, and some awareness of the political reality of where you are, in the here and now. The word politics does not refer to liberal or Democrat, it doesn't refer to conservative or Labour or any of that lot, okay? It refers to you dealing with other people. The word politics refers to the sphere of human activity, okay, whereby individuals, that means you, and groups try and resolve their differences. So it's a reminder for you to think about how you're dealing with other people and dealing with other groups to make sure that you get the best benefit for yourself, as well as making sure that things can work out okay and on the bigger scale, basically. Alright, progression on from that, it's moving towards the optimistic now. And I'll show you the way the story is panning out. Okay, because then we got signs relating to passion and domination and you being in charge. So this time when you've got to be really diplomatic is going to be there in the early future. And then moving on to a point whereby you don't have to be quite so diplomatic anymore. You can be able to say, no, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to get, and basically sod the rest of you. Okay? And then you're going to have time of fun and pleasure, and you're going to feel like this is about me and this is good. But you're doing it for the right reasons, because the Hermit's talking about going towards a goal. Okay, it's a goal-setting card in some ways. Yes, it does talk about knowledge and wisdom. It does talk about a time of contemplation, but it's also talking about being guided by your own intelligence, your own guiding light towards going to get a particular goal. Okay, and also it does. I mean, if you think about it, the imagery relates back to what I was talking about. Okay, you got the guiding light of his lamp. You got the dangers of the political environment around you, the people around you who don't necessarily have your best interests at heart, being symbolised by the wild creature, which in this case is represented by a three-headed dog, a bit like the Cerberus character from Greek mythology. And then there's the serpent's egg, which is the goal. Okay, and it's all there. The guidance, the trying to control a difficult situation, and trying to move towards a goal. And I think that the Hermit, in that aspect, in that interpretation, is basically a bit of a guiding symbol for you right now. Okay, Anna Berry. You want me to have a quick look at your financial situation over the next 6 months, so here we go. Just a straightforward chronological spread. Let's see what, basically what's coming through here for you, bit by bit. Okay, 6-card chronological reading over a period of time, trying to focus in on the issue of money. Again, just like with the last reading, I'm going to give you the bad news first, prior to me giving you the good news. And unfortunately for you, most of the reading is in fact basically the bad news. The good news comes towards the end, and let's just try and get a bit of extra perspective about that, okay? You've made a big decision, which is based upon the fact that things were not working out okay for you, and there was the worry and the anxiety and the feeling that things were seriously not going according to plan for yourself, okay? So the energy there was being set upon. There was difficulties. You had to try and solve them. You've taken a big, bold decision to try and make sure you could get some kind of space for clarity of thoughts. But the here and now is dominated still with those existing signs relating to worry, anxiety, and that negative feeling over you, because you don't know whether you made the right decision. Okay, moving on from there. Again, you want to start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel straight away. I don't think you're going to. Alright, I don't think you're going to see it immediately. There's just this feeling of it being around the corner. Because, whoops, that's what the Eight of Cups there is trying to promise you. And I would say that you've got to take into account the fact that the end result is around the corner. It's just not going to happen quick enough for you. That's one of the reasons for that particular card, okay? But guarding yourself could be important. This means a bit of extra work being done. This means caring for your own current situation. And under these circumstances, when finances are quite that tight, you're thinking about where things could be going in the long term for yourself. You've got to be a bit more selfish. Alright? You want to be a compassionate individual. I don't think you're quite in a position whereby you've got the luxury to be that compassionate. Alright, it's just like when I've only got, let's say, £5 left in the whole wide world, and I've got to go and do the shopping, the food shopping, so I can actually eat something. And then let's say there's a beggar in the street who's saying, look, could I please have £1? I have to turn around and say, no, I can't give you that money right now. Alright, and yes, it's like that sometimes for me. And it's like that sometimes for a lot of people. So, what I would say is, focusing on your needs. You've made that big decision. There can be progress. Now, what kind of progress are we talking about? Now, this is again based upon you doing the right decisions and moving your life forward in the right direction. Here we go. This is the finale. Right now, you're at the beginning or the middle of your movie. Okay, this is like the end scene when basically everything is wonderful, because you've got signs of very literal financial gain in this particular case, and also a sense of joy and sense of celebration. So it's a complete change in the energy. If there was like a graph of this, it starts out over there, okay? It moves along very, very slowly, and then it kind of like hockey sticks upwards, but in a positive way. We tend to perceive the hockey stick graph as being something unpleasant or evil because of our associations with climate change, global warming, population, and all the rest of that. But sometimes in a person's life, a hockey stick graph can be very positive. And if you're starting out at this low level, you just got to carry on working at it, working at it, working at it, and boom, something good happens. And it starts to carry you on the right path. So towards the end of this 6-month period, I would say the 4 to 6 month period is probably going to be quite amazing for you. Alright, it's going to be a completely different energy from what you've got right now. Thank you, Annette, for thanking me for your reading. Just doing my job. If you need me again, you know where I am, okay? Okay, Pam C, let's have a quick look and see whether your 2012 is going to be quite as exciting as you'd like it to be. Right, let's have a quick look and see what the Mysterious Tarot's got to say for you today. Bear with me a second, please. Okay. Yeah, a lot of changes are going to happen for you, I believe. We've got 3 different periods of new beginnings during this one particular year. The first one is about the first quarter, when there's a sense of people around you being more supportive and being able to help you, feeling much more a part of the local community, and also reaching out to other communities. Okay, reaching out to other communities and building bonds over there. You did ask in your question as to whether you'll be moving to another state. I think that's a possibility, and as a result of roots and feelers which you'll be setting out at the moment, I see you as someone who is searching, okay, searching for a better position, a better understanding, and also to be able to get some better results within your life right now. So you're already laying down plans, laying down the foundation, and there's a good sense of there being knowledge that you are trying to do what's right. The Ace of Cups there is talking about a form of happiness, a sense of celebratory energy, and also being able to mark or to celebrate a change as a result of your own efforts, alright, which is coming for you not too far down the line, not too far around the corner, you see, okay? So that feels tremendously optimistic from what I'm seeing here and what I'm feeling here, because your result is basically going to come through. Midterm future, through a time of strife and struggle, because essentially it's not going to work out purely according to plan. Maybe that's actually referring to the move itself and the change itself, okay? A bit of a bolt from the blue, but again as a result of a time of struggle and strife, which could be brought about by your own willpower, which you saw earlier on within the High Priestess card, okay? Which was as a result of you trying to lay down plans for a better, more happy, more celebratory and joy-filled future, okay? So you're actually going to put yourself through a negative period, as a result of trying to reach a particular goal. Your first change is bringing things about by yourself. Second change is being there, experiencing negativity there. And then thirdly, relating back to a sense of change and progress as a result of things you actually wanted to achieve starting to materialize. And it's been a long road. I get the feeling that you've experienced an awful lot in your life, but you wanted to have basically a simpler vision as to where things could be going. And all of a sudden, life has thrown you an awful lot of stuff your way, which you don't necessarily feel that you should have had to be dealing with in the first place. And now it's a question of, what am I supposed to be doing with all this stuff? But the reading is saying that, you know, the bigger picture that you wanted to manifest for yourself is still going to come. Right? But your life itself has been a bit of a winding route in order to get there. And it's taken a few deviations, but every single deviation you've been through has given you new perspective, new armament basically, so that your longer term future can be dominated more by success. Alright? It's like God has been preparing you for a battle. Alright? The battle is basically starting to come into your life from this time onwards, but the victory will be there, and part of the battle itself is to get through this time which you're bringing about for yourself, to allow yourself to move to another state, and to allow yourself to do better financially as well. The Magician card is speaking about pure and perfect new beginnings, but that's appearing at the end of your spread. Why isn't that appearing at the beginning? Because you're creating for yourself a new beginning. You're creating for yourself the ability to have the new beginning, and it's not there yet, but you are being moulded so that you can actually be successful when it properly comes. By the end of your 2012, I believe you'll be catapulted, so to speak, into a new way of living. Alright, and it's going to be quite good, quite positive. Zoe, okay, you want to find out what's happening between yourself and Jay. Well, let's have a quick look and see what the reading says. Bear with me a second, please. Alright, shuffling like crazy as per usual, standard fortune teller shuffle. Do it one way, turn it around, do it another way, trying to generate as much randomness as is possible, taking into account it's a bit of an old deck, it's getting a bit sticky now, you know. There's one place I want to go to in my little town that's actually got a cafe which is dedicated to all this kind of like stuff, basically. And they do sell tarot packs there. And I want to nip down on one particular day and get myself a brand new Book of Thoth. I'm getting rather lazy about updating my cards, I really am. But that doesn't matter. And maybe I'll sell this one particular pack on eBay. Who knows? Well, let's have a quick look for you though and see how things are going to work out with your relationship. 8-card relationship reading, here we go. Starting off with the first 5, so that's signs on your side of things, signs on his side of things. And the way I'm showing you the cards is to hold them up for you, okay? So on your side of things, communication, 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 and healing. Alright? We got air and fire kind of messages there associated with your future. I associate both air and fire signs with forms of communication. We live in a verbally affected, shall we say, world. Alright? When we're using words for ourselves, we can use them in a positive way, or we can use them in a negative way, and they can have an impact upon us. So do think about the affirmations you're using for yourself and how you're basically making yourself feel better and deal with the past better, because I feel that sometimes you live in the past and you don't want to do that if you're thinking about the future. Okay? On his side of things, you're dealing with someone who's also got their own negativity, but I think that they hold their negativity inside them a bit more. You're much more prepared to be able to be loving and to be forgiving and move on further from that. On his side of things, I believe he's someone who basically holds it inside himself, and it's there, and it's quite a clear and present danger of that darkness that he's got inside him affecting the relationship negatively. But again, you've got to carry on doing what you're doing. You've got to carry on being the one who makes the change happen. You've got to carry on being the one who calls, who does texting, and if possible, you know, get online, have online communication with him when he's not around, just here and there. Make sure it's appropriate for his circumstances and for his daily routine. But definitely try and keep that communication and energy going there. Forces between the two of you, there's the potential for something of a miraculous nature happening when you are face to face, when you are together. There's much more of that togetherness coming for you. Okay, So that's just the here and now. It's got some good portents for the future, but also a few cautions about his nature and where he is at the moment. So let's just sort of like open up the reading and see basically what we got coming through there. Alright. Stability, consistency, a message of the hearth of the home, and also the warmth of a good quality relationship for the short term future. So that's within the first 3 months from today's date. Okay, the first 3 months from today's date, meaning that there is still love, companionship, and a lot of good stuff there. It's not a question of this relationship is not one you have to worry about, but it is one you have to have mentorship over. If you're going to get the right quality of results. You're with me so far, okay? You've got to have mentorship over, but you've got to be the one to be the mentor. I think that you're at a time in your life when you want to sit back and think, well, it's up to him to do everything now. Alright, it's up to him. I really want him to get it done. No, you've got to stop thinking like that, and you've got to stop doing that as well. Because a relationship is always 50-50. Alright, you don't come back from work and find he's always provided you with flowers and little presents and a bottle of wine every single night. Alright, you just don't get that. Sometimes he needs to have the gifts. Because he's also in a different spiritual place to yourself. He's got that dark negativity inside himself. He needs to have that massaged away. In my particular case, the thing that really helped me was getting a cat. Alright, because it taught me an emotion I didn't, I'd actually felt that I'd lost. I'd lost the emotion of love. It had gone out of my life. Then all of a sudden, I get a cat, and he teaches me a new emotion, which I can then bring into my social life, and it's allowed me to experience much more positivity in life as a result of what this cat's taught me. All right. I'm not trying to tell you to get a cat. What I am trying to do is to tell you that there's more things you can do in your life to bring about change. Okay. Okay, more in the way of communication-orientated signs and very strong loving signs. The Mercurial aspect there is good. Basically, you've not got a bad relationship with this man. You've got a good relationship with this man, and it's going to get better and better and better with the passage of time. You've just got to maintain faith, you've got to maintain possession within the relationship, and you've got to carry on enjoying it, basically. Okay, Loco, you want me to read upon this one particular person who carries on popping it into your head once in a while. Could well be a psychic perception, might be a soulmate thing, who knows. Let's have a quick look and see what the reading says. We'll do the standard day card relationship reading, see what kind of thoughts, feelings, moods, energies and all the rest of that are going to appear for you today. Bear with me a second, please. I tell you what, it's a bit of a cold and frosty morning here in England. Sometimes we want it to get cold, frosty and snowy around Christmas time, don't we? Well, sometimes the bad weather, or the cold weather, shall we say, comes when it's good and ready, and it seems to be coming around about now. Right, okay, the energy between the two of you suggests this person is not completely gone from your life. It's more a question of this is a person who wants to be more heavily involved in your life with the passage of time in the future, but doesn't quite know how. This is a shy person. Okay, not socially speaking. Socially speaking, this is not a shy person, but emotionally speaking, when it's talking about a big decision, yes, they are shy. This is someone who can be quite garrulous, I suppose quite jolly and jovial, but this is also someone who's not very good at dealing with important, real relationship stuff straight away, face to face, and saying, "Hang on a minute, there's something here I really want, but I don't know." But they think I don't know how to get it. On this person's side of things, wanting to plan and prepare for the future, knowing there's extra benefits that they could bring into your life, that's good. So maybe this is a time of overcoming those things, and you'll be coming across this person and having that type of conversation, which is going to be more useful to the longer term progression within your whole connection itself. So that's actually looking very good and very positive anyway. Now on your side of things, you don't want the whole thing to go away. You're feeling it's very fragile. You're feeling it's been slow progress. You're actually rather upset this person carries on popping into your head. Maybe you could even have a look at why you're starting to get this feeling of this person popping into your head. I know that in my particular case, I was doing an awful lot of psychic readings many years ago. And things were working out really rather well, and I was getting stuff right all the time, and I was having stuff popping into my head. But then I went to the doctor and he says, well, wait a second, you've got a B vitamin deficiency. So I started taking B vitamins, and the ability to get those psychic perceptions basically just went. Because what was happening was I was ill, and because I was ill, I was therefore more open to things coming through. So I then had to learn what it meant to be healthier, looking after myself, taking all of my nutritional supplements, as well as reaching out. So maybe a change of diet, nutrition, a bit more exercise can help to stop this thing from popping into your head and basically torturing you from the inside, because you don't want that anymore, do you? No. Okay. So that's something else to do. Once you've got the health back, you will be able to work out what to do with these thoughts and feelings you're having about this individual moving further forward. Okay, are you with me so far? Right, now, here we go. This individual you are talking about appears to be important to your future somehow. I'm not going to turn around to you and say, oh no, this is the relationship, oh, you know, you've got to have it, it's got to be, oh, this is the one, because I think that would be bollocks, basically. I think that would be quite the wrong way of communicating the message to you. It would be more worthwhile to say that this is an individual who has importance in your future, and you need to, when the communication times occur, when the time together occurs, get a bit of, put your feelers out and work out where this person's coming from. Because I get the feeling that this is an individual who needs to grow into what the relationship itself means. Okay, and you are an important person within that particular subject. So you'll be helping him to grow, he'll be helping you to grow, you'll both be able to understand where you're coming from, you'll both be able to grow up and stop being quite so silly about the subject, and then there's a possibility mid-term future. Okay, that's what the passion card there is talking about, mid-term future. That's when things can connect bigger and better. But there's also this feeling that you've got this feeling of similarity there anyway. So that sense of distance may start ebbing away, and again, great potential for the future on the basis that you choose it. Remember, prophecy is always about probability, right? Prophecy is about probability. It's not about hard and fast certainty. And each and every single one of you can choose. All I'm doing is pointing out, like, the energy, so to speak, of a situation, and then you yourself can make a rational and objective decision based upon what you see in front of you in terms of people's behavior. Let their actions do the talking, alright? And then you can decide whether that's an energy you're interested in your life. What you can do is challenge them, though. You can challenge them and actually say, well, wait a second, I feel bad about the way in which you spoke to me. I felt bad about the way in which you communicated to me. I felt upset because you said this. Well, use language like that. It's not a question of, well, you said this, you said that. It's a question of, well, I felt upset because, or I felt hurt because. Alright, change the way you use language. And then that will help them to understand where they're coming from, where their behavior is. Alright? And then the social dynamic between you and them can start to change in a way which will be beneficial for both of you. Okay, Daniel H. You've got the possibility of going out to Germany to do some education there. Let's have a quick look and see what the reading says. Bear with me a second, please. Still using my traditional method, combination of tarot and anything else that comes through. I hope that's okay. Right, is that going to be the thing for you? Let's have a quick look and see basically what's coming through for you. I think it's a very difficult situation for yourself. I think you can see positives and negatives to it, and as a result of that you need to think about it from a more practical level. I mean, can you afford it, and also what will the financial rewards be as a result of getting the extra education that you're thinking about here. The bonds that I've got here within this particular reading is very financially driven, but you're thinking about being able to get the financial stability so you can look after someone, look after a family environment, and do things in a very good, very holy, very proper way. So I think it would be worthwhile doing it, but is that one particular option necessarily the one that you need? So yes, I personally would err on the more positive side towards it, saying yes, do it. But is that one the one particular one that you want to achieve, or the one that you need to achieve right now? Okay, I think that maybe there's something bigger and better for you further on around the corner, though, in terms of another education opportunity that could possibly provide you with what you're after, but without necessarily the risk. And I think the risk aspect is something you need to think about. But there's some good feelings I've got for the longer term future. A new era will dawn, providing you with great joy as a result of some academic things you'll be doing in the short term future. Alright, which is going to, again, give you a feeling of celebration and happiness. So the story that the reading is giving me is very full of success and very full of positivity. Okay, it's going to be a challenge. There's going to be some dark moments there as well, but there's also going to be some good moments there too. So do bear that in mind. I don't feel that it's going to be totally negative. I think that you've got to go through the education one way or another, but work out the hows, whys and wherefores of it all. Okay, the planning, the logistics, that's what's really important. Let's get on with the final reading of today. Bear with me a second, please. Lynn McGee. Okay, let's have a quick look and see what the reading is suggesting for you. You want to do the house move, want to make sure that's going to be okay. Let's see what the reading's saying there. Here we go. Okay, yes, I do think that's going to happen. The lightning struck tower is a good sign. It's not a bad sign. It doesn't talk about calamity. I'm sure you do readings as well yourself, so you know that. It's talking about turning your life upside down and possibly changes associated with property. So think about that as well. Financial gain as well, enabling some kind of change that basically you've always wanted, which is going to occur for you. Now, the signs of the past, that's what's got all the failure in it, okay? The signs of the future, that's what's got your passion, changing your life around, the house move, the rest of it, it's all going to be there for you. You will be able to make that happen. Now, your question was about being able to focus in on your spiritual journey. You've actually gone through an awful lot which has made you feel rather ragged inside, I feel. I just got this sensation of I need to rest. Alright, I've got things I need to cope with. And I think that's part of where you are at the moment. Yeah, there's signs of you finding the right place, the right form of healing for yourself coming through in the reading as well. So I don't feel that you're going to miss out on that. I think that you're going to get that as well. Okay, remember, it's only the past that's provided me with a feeling of failure, futility, negativity and darkness. Everything else, the energy of everything else, is very much dominated by your own willpower. Okay, making sure you get the financial results that you need, not necessarily that you want, but that you need, and then providing you with the ability to turn your life around. Okay, it's all looking quite positive, realistically speaking. House moves, even if you're doing the organisation yourself or somebody else is doing it for you, can still be a knackering time. So you just got to face that, okay? But I think it'll be alright. I do. I really do. Okay, now, for anybody else out there, very quickly, submit your requests via email. Okay, the email address is nickdutchtarot@gmail.com. Okay, nickdutchtarot@gmail.com. Include your first name and or date of birth if you wish, okay? That will always help, okay? It's not totally essential, but it can help. Provide me with a question. Do not provide me with thousands of paragraphs, okay? Provide me with a short, succinct question, a bit of basic background, so I've got something to hang my impressions upon, okay? Remember that, legally speaking, a tarot reading is sold as an entertainment service for good, common sense reasons, namely you are the final decision maker in your life, no matter what any reader or clairvoyant or tarot reader or spiritualist or occultist or religious person ever says. Okay, you are the king of your own life, or queen, or prime minister, depending upon what you prefer, but either way, you're in charge. Okay, what you can do is do what other people do and try and use your readings as a form of contemplation opportunity to be able to think about your life in a different way, and in that particular respect can be very valuable. I do this commercially. Links will be in the information section for you, and I will look forward to speaking to you again very, very soon here on The Tarot Show with Nick Dutch.